to trade talks. India and the EU elevate their partnership as both sides seek to work in a new geopolitical reality. It seems Justin Trudeau was the reason the Liberal Party was faring badly against rival Conservatives, as Justin Trudeau looks set to step down as the Liberal Party chief on 9th of March. The party is now having a major lead over the Conservatives. Will this hold till Canada goes to polls, is the question. A military versus minerals deal in the pipeline as Ukrainian President Zelensky heads to Washington, D.C. for a meeting with President Trump. All eyes on whether this will end the 3-year-long war between Russia and Ukraine. And the Mahakumbh comes to an end. Over 65 crore devotees taking a dip in the holy Sangam. It is the world's largest spiritual and holy gathering in Uttar Pradesh that concludes. All right, our top story, viewers, this week. Bangladesh is now teetering on the edge of more chaos. The unravelling of the nation's political fabric, well, it continues. The recent student-led uprising, which ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, ignited a series of events that have led the country to the brink of an all-out crisis. And Bangladesh is now caught in a fierce struggle for power, and the army chief has also now weighed in. In fact, he has made it clear that the situation is dire. Army chief has warned that Bangladesh is on the verge of total anarchy, its sovereignty at risk due to internal squabbles. The infighting is because of all players want to take credit for Sheikh Hasina's ouster and want to be the primary beneficiary of this political transition. Speaking at an armed forces function, General Zaman expressed deep concern over the growing lawlessness, citing a breakdown in the police force and widespread violence. He blamed the political instability, stating that the country's anarchy is a product of its own doing. The army chief's chilling warning, which is that if you continue fighting amongst yourselves, the independence and the integrity of the country will be at risk. It underscores the growing inevitability of a military intervention. Maybe the army chief is setting the stage for such a possibility. Bangladesh has been a very successful democracy in Islamic countries, but it has also witnessed its fair share of military coups. On your screens are some of those military coups that did take place in that country. Army's increasing involvement in daily governance and law enforcement hints that a coup could be a possibility once again. As political parties continue to play a game of tug-of-war over power, the military might sees itself as the only possible institution that is capable of preventing a total breakdown. And Mohammad Yunus would do well to pay heed to his army chief's advice, which is to hold elections soon. Do not delay the political transition because it's hurting Bangladesh. And it's not just the bickering between all stakeholders, but it's the prospect of more violence, viewers. After all, the Operation Devil Hunt that was announced recently has rounded up the last of the dissident voices left in Bangladesh, but hasn't ended the violence in the country. All right, the first wide-angle story on the show. India and the EU may finally have a trade deal by the end of this year after years of negotiations and talks. Even being in cold storage for some time, there are now global push factors that are, well, one of them is that the regular tariff hike threats that the Trump administration keeps issuing is having an impact. It has also threatened the EU with a 25% hike in its goods. Another push factor for the EU is the need to be part of the biggest growth story, and that is India. It is the world's fastest growing economy, and greater trade and investment for the EU makes a lot more sense. In fact, it also is holding and has held detailed investment talks, wants to have deeper supply chain linkages between India and the EU. In fact, the India partnership may also force the famously inward-looking European Union to shed its reluctance and have a stronger view on the Indo-Pacific and a clear position on China. Both are in fact areas that are going to be part of deeper collaboration. The India-EU partnership will be inked on India's terms with Brussels, likely to offer more tech collaboration, offer more flexibility in terms of movement of skilled labor, and also ensure more investment. Trade between India and EU has grown 3 times in the last 2 decades, but the potential is far more. and a protectionist America is likely to bring India's other trade partners closer and more amenable to closing contentious trade talks that haven't been so for a really long time. Listen in to what leaders Prime Minister Modi and Ursula von der Leyen had to say.
हमने अपनी टीम्स को एक पारस्परिक लाभकारी बायलैटरल फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट को एफटीए को इस वर्ष के अंत तक संपन्न करने का निर्देश दिया है। फ्रेंड्स, टेक्नोलॉजी और इनोवेशन के क्षेत्र में एक ट्रस्टेड और सिक्योर वैल्यू चेन हमारी साझी प्राथमिकता है। सेमीकंडक्टर, एआई, हाई परफॉर्मेंस कंप्यूटिंग और 6G में सहयोग बढ़ाने पर भी सहमति बनी है।
Businesses and people want to work together. And one of the best examples of this partnership is the new Federation of European Businesses in India. It brings together 6,000 EU companies which have created 8 million direct and indirect jobs in this economy. Now we have tasked our teams to build on this momentum and finalize our free trade agreement before the end of the year. We're expecting a lot of our trade negotiators. We told them they should surprise us.
Okay, now the other wide-angle story on the show. This is the political roller coaster that Canada is fast turning into. Recent polling shows that the ruling Liberal Party is now mounting an unexpected comeback, despite a string of early setbacks. US President Trump's threats have been looming large, and it looks like the Liberal Party has been able to capitalize on the public sentiment. The numbers have surged. Well, it also comes at a time when Justin Trudeau is set to now demit office in favor of another leader. So who knows? Maybe Justin Trudeau was the problem for Liberal Party. This report tells you more. Just weeks ago, Canada's ruling Liberals seemed all but finished. But in a dramatic twist, they are mounting a comeback. A series of new opinion polls show the Liberals, led by an as-yet-undecided leader, are now neck and neck with their Conservative rivals, despite a crushing 26-point deficit just 6 weeks ago. Polls show the Liberals have surged to 38% support, while the Conservatives trail closely at 36%. This shift has been fueled by an unlikely ally, US President Donald Trump. After threatening tariffs on Canadian goods and even suggesting Canada could become the 51st state, Trump's inflammatory rhetoric seems to have ignited anti-Trump sentiment across Canada, bolstering the Liberals' position. But it's not just Trump's threat that's fueling the shift in public opinion. The impending leadership race within the Liberal Party has also played a critical role. Former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney has quickly emerged as the frontrunner to replace Justin Trudeau, and he's become a prime target for Conservative attacks. They argue that Carney, who has faced allegations of moving his business to the US, is out of touch with ordinary Canadians, further complicating the already chaotic political climate. The question now is, will the Liberals hold on to this new momentum, or will their comeback be short-lived? Polls show that even with Trudeau's departure, the Conservatives are still struggling to find the right footing. Their leader, Pierre Poilievre, once seen as Canada's answer to Trump, is facing increased scrutiny. A recent poll revealed that Canadians trust Carney more than Poilievre to handle the Trump challenge. 40% of respondents backed Carney to negotiate with the US, compared to just 26% for Pierre Poilievre. As the race heats up and the clock ticks towards the new Liberal leader announcement on 9th of March, it remains to be seen if this sudden change of public mood will last till the hustings scheduled for later this year. Now, these changed circumstances offer a very unique opportunity to Canada. On the 9th of March, the new leader of the Liberal Party will be announced, and as Justin Trudeau exits, his pro-Khalistani, anti-India policy should hopefully also exit. Bilateral relations are meant to survive individual leaders and party politics, and the India-Canada relationship is no exception. A Liberal Party with a new leader will allow New Delhi to also engage with Canada with a fresh perspective. Time will tell how Ottawa will reorient its foreign policy away from Trudeau's bias. All right, moving on, viewers. In Tibet, China's controversial boarding schools may be conducting cultural genocide, systematically erasing Tibetan identity through forced indoctrination of children as it wants to control the next generation of Tibetans. Chinese are also trying to control how the Tibetans choose their spiritual leader. This report tells you just what all is at stake for Tibet here.
Over 350,000 people have signed a petition demanding an investigation into China's colonial boarding school system in Tibet. Nearly 1 million Tibetan children are being forcibly separated from their families, subjected to a curriculum designed to erase their language, culture, and identity. These institutions are not schools, they are tools of cultural genocide disguised as education. Tibetan advocacy groups warn that China's assimilation campaign is reaching alarming levels. UN experts have condemned the practice, but China's actions go unchecked. China's manipulation of Tibet's spiritual future is igniting global outrage. Beijing has long sought to control the selection of the Dalai Lama, undermining Tibet's spiritual lifeline, a game it has been playing for 30 years. In 1995, China abducted the true Panchen Lama, whose spiritual authority is second only to that of the Dalai Lama, leaving the real Panchen Lama as one of the longest-serving political prisoners. Not only this, Beijing also appointed its own Karmapa, Tibetan Buddhism's third most important spiritual leader and head of the Karma Kagyu sect, but he fled to India, sparking tensions. For over 600 years, Tibetans have chosen their leader based on spiritual science. Yet, Beijing insists that only it has the authority to select the next incarnation of the Dalai Lama, a move that could rob Tibet of its cultural and spiritual lifeline. A clear effort to place a puppet in control of Tibetan Buddhism.
All right, on that note, a quick break. We return with lots more on the other side. Stay with us. This week on India Ascends. Bangladesh Army Chief's big bombshell cautions against continued anarchy as Supreme Court allows Jamaat Chief to appeal death sentence. We decode what are the terms that will end the Ukraine war. 3.5 lakh signed petition urging UN to investigate China's contentious boarding schools in Tibet. And new turn in the Trump versus legacy media. All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gaurie Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
कुछ कैमरा और माइक लेके सोसाइटी को एक नया शेप देते हैं, जैसे आपका सबसे भरोसेमंद एनडीटीवी।
और कुछ कैमरा और माइक लेके सपनों को नया शेप देते हैं, जैसे हम सुपर बॉयज ऑफ मालेगांव।
अरे कुछ मुकम्मल बना सकते यार हम लोग, जो हमारा अपना हो।
कौन सी पिक्चर बना रहे हो?
मालेगांव के शोले।
तो जितने भरोसे से आप एनडीटीवी देखते हैं, उतने ही प्यार से देखो हमारी मूवी सुपर बॉयज ऑफ मालेगांव अपने करीबी थिएटर्स में 28 फरवरी से।
और मूवी की सारी खबरें एनडीटीवी वेबसाइट और ऐप पे।
Right in the very beginning, that the institute had a very big impression and it forever left an indelible mark on what you are. What about teaching sometimes?
If you tell me that I can teach you acting in 2 weeks, in 3 months, it doesn't happen. It's a lifetime of learning.
People who have been part of your life, starting with your father, his influence on you. He was a leftist, a tall left leader, and then your marriage to Javed Akhtar. How have men influenced your life?
In my house, I grew up with taking gender equality as a given. 70 साल पहले उन्होंने लिखी थी औरत उठ मेरी जान मेरे साथ ही चलना है तुझे, at a time when it was believed that women's place is in the home and the heart, looking after the children. And he said, no, you march along with me.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Very, very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Prophet Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
American president talks about making America great again, and when Prime Minister Modi talks about Viksit Bharat, in a way is talking about making India great again.
India needs to diversify its sources of capital.
Deployment of the grassroots level will be done by manufacturing.
You can't truly become a developed nation unless we take every segment of the society in our economic development journey. This is also another element of blueprint for Viksit Bharat.
The NDTV Prophet Conclave 2025, the blueprint for Viksit Bharat, only on the NDTV network. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora, we cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
This week on India Ascends, Bangladesh Army Chief's big bombshell cautions against continued anarchy as Supreme Court allows Jamaat Chief to appeal death sentence. We decode what are the terms that will end the Ukraine war. 3.5 lakh signed petition urging UN to investigate China's contentious boarding schools in Tibet. And new turn in the Trump versus legacy media. All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gaurie Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Right in the very beginning, that the institute had a very big impression and it forever left an indelible mark on what you are. What about teaching sometimes?
If you tell me that I can teach you acting in 2 weeks, in 3 months, it doesn't happen. It's a lifetime of learning.
People who have been part of your life, starting with your father, his influence on you. He was a leftist, a tall left leader, and then your marriage to Javed Akhtar. How have men influenced your life?
In my house, I grew up with taking gender equality as a given. 70 साल पहले उन्होंने लिखी थी औरत उठ मेरी जान मेरे साथ ही चलना है तुझे, at a time when it was believed that women's place is in the home and the heart, looking after the children. And he said, no, you march along with me.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest.
Welcome back. This is India Ascends. Let's now take a look at the other big story, which is the Trump-Zelensky meeting that is likely to take place. Ahead of the meeting, Trump holds all cards and stakes, and Trump's terms rise ahead of meeting with Zelensky. US-Ukraine set to ink a rare earth minerals deal, and will Trump be able to negotiate a quick end to the Ukraine war is the key question that we are asking. Well, the agreement is set to grant the US access to Ukraine's rare earth mineral deposits and may promise a windfall. But it's no free lunch when it comes to Kiev. But there's every reason for Donald Trump to be looking at a possible minerals deal. Ukraine holds 6% of global graphite reserves. It holds one of Europe's largest lithium reserves, which is estimated at about 500,000 metric tons. Ukraine has largest titanium reserves in whole of Europe and holds about 2 to 4% of the global uranium reserves. You understand why Trump is making this part of the minerals for possibly some sort of a military engagement and some sort of a partnership there between Ukraine and US. But Trump's words echo through the halls of power, demanding that the US get its money back while pushing Kyiv to foot the bill for its own safety. Zelensky, which has been caught between the economic carrot and the security stick, is left to navigate a deal that will make some strides towards rebuilding Ukraine, given the fact that there's also an investment fund that is being proposed, an investment fund which, of course, Ukraine will also have to fund. All of it will not be funded by the US, but with the US sitting firmly in the driver's seat. As Zelensky hopes for a NATO path, Trump's rhetoric makes it clear he's not one to play by anyone's rules, but his own. Despite assurances and reassurances, the deal leaves Ukraine exposed. The safety net remaining little more than a fragile promise in this high-stakes game. Trump remains the puppeteer, and Zelensky, despite his role in this global chess match, is ever at his beck and call.
We're going to have a very good meeting tomorrow morning. We're going to get along really well, okay? We have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for him. We've given him a lot of equipment and a lot of money.
Mine the precious minerals from Ukraine. How much should the U.S. expect to receive, and when do you expect to see that come to fruition?
Well, we're never going to know that answer, but by our being in Ukraine and doing the exploration and also the digging and taking the rare earth, which we need in our country very badly.
Now, India and Nepal have ties that date back to centuries. To the Ramayana era, ties that have been reinforced by marital ties and trade relations. Well, this is not just a fact, it's a plea from the father of the Nepalese student who died at the KIIT campus earlier this month. The father's plea is a reinforcement that India will not fail its oldest neighbor, its oldest ally and cultural cousin, and it won't. And he has every right to demand this and have this expectation from India. After all, Nepali students account for about 28% of total international students in India. Reports indicate that India gets over 46,000 international students every year, with over 13,000 students being from Nepal alone. And they don't need any visa. In fact, India also welcomes Nepalese students to work after they finish their studies in line with appropriate paperwork that's needed. A shameful incident at a private university will not change this. Probes should be fast-tracked, as any trust deficit between India and Nepal must be addressed at the very earliest. Quick take segment on the show. Positive news coming in for the Indian economy. There's been a recovery in the third quarter. GDP growth has come at 6.2%, driven by a good monsoon and continued government spending. This marks a recovery from the previous quarter's 5.4%, highlighting the resilience of rural consumption. But even as the economy powers ahead, challenges loom large. A widening fiscal deficit, now at 11.7 lakh crore rupees, raises concerns about the country's fiscal health. Meanwhile, uncertainty over trade policies, especially potential US tariffs, cast a shadow over future prospects. A 6.5% growth forecast for FY25 is still likely to make India the world's third largest economy by 2030. Donald Trump is making news not just for what he says in Oval Office, but by deciding who gets to hear him firsthand in the Oval Office. In a break from a departure from what is the tradition, where a few elite media outlets decided who attends President's address in smaller and restricted spaces, that prerogative has, which was till now with the White House Association, now lies with the White House. It was earlier with the White House Correspondents Association. The move has been condemned by those impacted the most: Reuters, Associated Press and Bloomberg, or in Trump lingo, the legacy media. In an open letter, they have in fact expressed this. The press pool should be the prerogative of the press, but questions rise when the 13-member smaller pool has permanent spots for some and none for others. When was the last time some of these big media outlets did not have a permanent spot at these smaller events that are all about access to the world's most powerful man? In this age of overexposure and overcommunication, changing press pool rules will not inhibit democracy, neither will it stop the flow of information, but possibly open doors to alternate media models and news agencies. Now it's up to Team Trump to come good on ensuring that credible voices ask the tough questions that he responds to honestly. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Sense. Thanks so much for watching.
Very, very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Prophet Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
American president talks about making America great again, and when Prime Minister Modi talks about Viksit Bharat, in a way is talking about making India great again.
India needs to diversify its sources of capital.
Deployment of the grassroots level will be done by manufacturing.
You can't truly become a developed nation unless we take every segment of the society in our economic development journey. This is also another element of blueprint for Viksit Bharat.
The NDTV Prophet Conclave 2025, the blueprint for Viksit Bharat, only on the NDTV network. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora, we cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
This week on India Ascends, Bangladesh Army Chief's big bombshell cautions against continued anarchy as Supreme Court allows Jamaat Chief to appeal death sentence. We decode what are the terms that will end the Ukraine war. 3.5 lakh signed petition urging UN to investigate China's contentious boarding schools in Tibet. And new turn in the Trump versus legacy media. All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gaurie Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Those who are going to be recognized or given awards. But what comes into my mind is we have so many inventions and discoveries in the history of the mankind, but the invention of wheel had actually transformed and changed the human lifestyle itself. Thereafter, we have many inventions. Now, presently, we can say internet, artificial intelligence. But by far, the discovery, the invention of wheel has been the most profound impact in the human life. It has changed the whole nature of mobility. In a small village where I grew up, we also were part of our small inventions. We're chopping off the wood and making small wheel out of that, and we used to go to our primary school riding on that rough road of the wooden wheels. So today we are excited to see such beautiful cars, two very sleek cars parking here, this side, two that side. And in the midst of the whole talk about moving towards EV, electric vehicles is the next things which we are going to have our future. So India is in a very interesting position. And you all know I don't need to throw lights about the whole automotive industry with you. You are the captains of the industry, so I need not actually talk about this matter. But what I just want to recall what Honorable Prime Minister said in the Bharat Mobility Global Expo. He said the vision of India's mobility is hinged on 7 C's: the common, connected, convenient, congestion-free, charged, clean, and cutting edge. So these guiding principles lays the foundation for inclusive and sustainable mobility through which it will change the whole landscape of India's automotive industry and the whole sector. So let me pay my tributes to Ratan Tata and Ozomi Suzuki. They are the people who had actually laid the foundation and fulfilled the dream of the common people to own a car. When we used to dream when we were young to own a car, which will be my car, I'll be the owner of the car. That would be the ultimate dream of everyone. And today we are all coming to this reality. And to honor them, I'm told by the NDTV, is a huge gesture to the industry. So I must compliment the NDTV group for having such a noble thoughts and taking a lead in recognizing all those pioneers, and they are the trailblazers. So we must not only pay tribute to them, but also to fulfill their aspirations, their inspirations, so many things we have to learn from them. They are the people who started as a humble, person and then became the iconic figures. So to democratize this whole thing, the whole mobility industry in India is actually moving towards, I could say, a different kind of structure now, because we are going to become the hub of this next, the EV era which we are going to see. And we are bound to be the hub. And Honorable Prime Minister already laid the government's priority. Having said that, what I could just gather from my little understanding of the automobile industry around the globe, India will be one of a major hub, because the way in which India is projecting itself and the manner in which government is being a pioneer, partnering the automobile, the automotive industry. So the Western world, China, of course, taking a big lead in the EV sector. India is next big thing to happen. So I'm very sure with the captains of the industry here, you are going to play a very pivotal leadership role. And we have full faith in you. And to come and to share the moment with you is a very happy moment for me. So as I said in the beginning, I didn't come here thinking of speaking. I did not come prepared. I just knew what is going to happen. So without taking much time, I will be eagerly waiting to be witnessing those, recognizing those who deserve it. And also, it's definitely an honor for me to be invited here. Thank you, Nikunj. He has been a great friend since his different avatar in those times nowadays. He was in a different way those days. And ever since, he was there in the media sector. And I, being a politician, so we have a very good relationship, very good understanding. So I said I will definitely come and part of this beautiful evening. And once again, congratulations to those who are being honored, recognized, and also to NDTV for having such a beautiful event. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Kiran sir, can I request you to stay on for a bit more? Thank you so much for that inspiring speech. Thank you. We want you to give away some awards, so requesting you to stay on.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir. So now, as we get the awards underway, let us begin by remembering and honoring the legendary Shri Ratan Tata, the man who introduced to India its first fully made in India car and changed the perception of India's automotive industry forever.
Can we please play the AV?
Ratan Naval Tata, the esteemed industrialist and former chairman of the Tata Group. Tata was a visionary leader who transformed the Tata Group into a global conglomerate. After completing his education in architecture at Cornell University, Tata joined the family business in 1962, starting on the shop floor of Tata Steel. In 1991, he succeeded his uncle, J.R.D. Tata, as chairman of Tata Sons. Under his leadership, the group expanded internationally, acquiring notable companies such as Tetley Tea in 2000 and Jaguar Land Rover in 2008. One of the biggest moments in his career was the Tata Nano, which was launched at rupees 1 lakh in 2008. Tata was known for his philanthropic endeavors. He chaired Tata Trusts, which owns a majority.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV. Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi, who's already at loggerheads with the DMK government, has joined the language war today, saying that the state's persistent policy, the two-language policy of teaching students Tamil and English, deprived youngsters of Tamil Nadu of opportunities. In fact, the DMK now has promptly hit back with Law Minister Raghupati, asking the governor not to teach Tamils love for their language. Now, the governor's remarks come at a time when the state's DMK government, led by Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, is in the middle of a tussle with Bharatiya Janata Party-led central government over what it sees as perceived or imposition of Hindi under the National Education Policy 2020. So, is this actually a language war that's being fueled for political purposes, or a question of the state's identity and autonomy? How will the governor's intervention now impact the political playout of this matter? That is what we will discuss today. We are being joined by R. Rangaraj, who's a senior journalist. He is the editor of TamilNaduFirst.com. We have A. Saravanan, who's a national spokesperson, DMK. We have Narayan Tirupati, vice president and spokesperson, Tamil Nadu BJP. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. Mr. Tirupati, to you first, sir. The governor talking about the language issue today, he also in fact spoke about what he called anti-Sanatana Dharma forces. Do you see this intervention, sir, as aiding your party's position or actually creating more potential centers of conflict? Because Tamil, we all know, is an emotive subject. Okay, we will try connecting with Mr. Tirupati in just a bit. Mr. Rangaraj, to you, how do you see this issue politically playing out and also socially playing out, sir? Because as somebody who has covered Tamil Nadu, Sri Lanka or Sri Lankan Tamils issue, or for that matter, the language issue, NEET issue, Jallikattu issues are, emotive matters, and these are tricky matters as well. How do you see the language war, the latest flashpoint, playing out politically?
Yeah, the language issue is part of the DMK strategy to keep its identity alive of Tamil culture, Tamil pride, Tamil language versus what it perceives as a North Indian, even a kind of Aryan influence over particularly the southern states. So this has generally been the theme of the DMK's pet policy on the language issue for the last several decades. So every time there's an issue on language, so you can be certain that the DMK will up the ante on the Hindi issue. But the governor has taken a stand that the NEP is popular, and many students from other states, they want to learn Hindi, and that the state is discriminating against them. So this is, of course, an issue as who is perceived to be appealing to the larger section of the electorate. Of course, the Hindi-speaking section or people from other states form only a small portion of the state's population. So it essentially suits the DMK to play the Tamil card and the Tamil language and Tamil pride card, whereas the North Indians are not in a big majority in this part of the country. So you have naturally a BJP versus DMK issue, and the governor is seen as towing the BJP line. That's how it's playing out here.
Right. Mr. Tirupati, if you can hear us, we wanted to ask you, do you see the governor's intervention as aiding your party's position or actually creating more potential areas of conflict? Because, you know, we have seen these controversies around him, the controversy around him walking out of the assembly, or the alleged disrespect towards Tamil Thai Varthu, or for that matter, even approving of bills. Even Supreme Court talked about this. Do you see this aiding your party's position? Wouldn't it be better for BJP's prospects to keep it confined to local issues of governance, rather than make it about ideology and identity, because Tamil remains an emotive subject?
The governor has got, he is the head of the state and the constitutional head of the state, and he has got every right to talk about the state's welfare. So we need to understand this, and who are we to say that governor should talk this and he should not talk that? And it is you know, as a governor of the state, he has all the right to interfere and talk for the well-being of the Tamils. If the government makes any mistakes, he is there to, you know, correct it. So it is nothing to do with the BJP. It's very, very clear. So he is the representative of the president. So he has got every right. He's the constitutional head. So in no way it is going to affect the BJP. And how can you say that he has to concentrate on local things? No, see, this NEP is a very big thing, and definitely the government is making a mistake where the government says that this government has got two-language policy. Actually, it is not so. There is no two-language policy in Tamil Nadu, because more than 50% of the students who are studying, they are also Tamils. They are learning three languages. So only the poor rural government students are learning only two languages. So it is definitely the betrayal for, they are betraying, the government is betraying those students, and that is what we say. And rightly, Mr. Governor has very clearly said. So as far as BJP is concerned, we talk what is right, and we definitely say which is wrong to the government. So
Right.
no way, it is not wrong on the part of the governor to advise the government.
Right. Mr. Saravanan, Tamil Nadu government, we know, has been reiterating its position that there will be no change in its two-language policy since, and this has been in force since 1968. Now, Tamil Nadu is the only state that doesn't follow a three-language policy. There are political reasons, social reasons. But the Chief Minister again has raised the delimitation issue again. There's also this view that the DMK, that has won 3 straight elections till now, but has been in power for 10 years, is also trying to keep the pot simmering because it also wants to keep its base intact. Is that also why you are raising these ideological issues again and again?
No. See, the NEP, first and foremost, the NEP should be consigned to the dustbin. It only speaks of 4 issues: Sanskritization, vocational education, entrance examination. Apart from that, they don't have anything concrete to offer. And when it comes to the state of Tamil Nadu, you mentioned very clearly that we have been following this two-language formula from 1968, and how are we put in a disadvantage? How are the students of the state of Tamil Nadu disadvantaged, or have they not achieved anything? Students from here have gone everywhere else over the globe, and we have ISRO scientists. We have the director of ISRO, and we have the great president, Mr. Abdul Kalam. All of them study in this two-language formula, and they have been able to walk the global stage. And why should we study the three-language formula? And when you are speaking about this ideological issues, BJP is our ideological opponent. If they are not imposing their will on us, we wouldn't be bothered. We will be talking about something else. It is the BJP which is, this issue is settled in the last 70 years, and now why are they speaking about this three-language formula? We don't want your 3 languages. And let them answer. How many states in North India is following this 3-language formula? Why Tamil Nadu alone should follow this 3-language formula? And we are not the ones we are kicking up this controversy. It is the audacity, the arrogance of the Union Home Minister, who has the temerity to say, we will not give you 2,100 crores, as though he is giving it out of his own pocket. That is the taxpayers' money of Tamil Nadu. He is not taking it from the bank balance of the BJP and giving it to us. That is why we are opposing it. We are not starting all these things. It is the BJP. BJP wants to Sanskritize, saffronize everything, and we will oppose that. That is our ideology. Okay. And this is not about simmering, keeping the pot simmering. Okay. It is the BJP which is lighting the fire.
Okay, Mr. Tirupati, Saravanan is saying that it's the BJP that's lighting the fire, while the BJP has also maintained that it's a DMK that wants to keep the pot simmering. How do you see this, sir?
No, he's asking which state is following three-language formula. All states are following three-language formula, including the Bihar. In fact, the DMK people were talking about Bihar. And Bihar, you've got English, Hindi, and also a regional language.
But Mr. Tirupati, let me just ask you this one question. When you say three-language formula, we've also known that anecdotally and also data that says that many of them take Sanskrit, right? How many North Indians also look at learning a South Indian language seriously? Is that also a concern that Tamils would be thinking of when they look at this debate?
See, in the last two national policies, educational policy, it was very clear that Hindi should be compulsory. But in this national education policy, Hindi is not compulsory, and any Indian language is being mentioned, and that is what we are following. So we need to, first of all, the lie of the DMK is that in all other states, North Indian states, they learn only one language or two languages. No, they are following three languages. I am asking only one thing. See, let us not deviate from all these things. Mr. Saravanan says that we don't want three languages. I am asking you, all your parties, leaders, or office bearers, children are studying in matriculation or CBSE schools which are teaching three languages. And your own first family's school, Sunshine School. See, if you have the guts, I'm telling you, you ban that the Tamil Nadu students should not learn third language. You have the guts. Why you are backstabbing the very poor and the rural government school students? Mr. Udayanithi Stalin, the Deputy Chief Minister, says that why there is no three language in government school. He says that we are giving because we are giving free food and free uniform. That is atrocity. That is atrocity. That is how they treat the poor rural school students. That is what we are saying. Okay. So you don't say that it is your government's policy. Yes. It is a policy for the government school student. It is not for the entire Tamil. Only you do you mean to
Saravanan, this point about DMK leaders already, sending their children to CBSE schools where Hindi is taught, would that also mark hypocrisy in terms of politics?
See, the BJP, when you speak of an ideological issue, that is how they divide. That is how they divert the entire issue. They are not bothered about the policy. Say, ban the third language from CBSE also, it is of no use. It is of no use to any of the students in the entire country. It's a waste of time, waste of energy, waste of resources. We are not, people are not joining CBSE schools because the Hindi is taught. It is because of various other factors. That is because of Selvi J. Jayalalitha. We had matriculation schools here. But we had Samachir Kalvi and Selvi J. Jayalalitha cast an aspersion on the Samachir Kalvi. That is the reason why a lot of CBSE schools have been started. Otherwise, in the state of Tamil Nadu, the CBSE schools were very, very minimal. When we speak of hypocrisy, duplicity, that is followed by the BJP. See, the BJP says we should not have English. We should have only the regional language. But if you look at all the children of the BJP leaders, all of them are in all the top Ivy League schools, Harvard, Cambridge, Stanford, any other school. They want their children to study, go abroad and study in English, but they want all the Karyakartas to take Trishuls, go lynch someone for their dietary preference. This is the duplicity. This is what we oppose.
Quickly, Mr. Tirupati, before I take the last word from Mr. Rangarajan.
See, once again I'm telling you, the discussion is only this. Don't say that this is a Tamil Nadu's policy. This is not Tamil Nadu's policy.
Okay, Saravanan, let him respond. I'll come to you.
See, I will tell you what. Rangarajan, 1 minute.
Why is he responding? Then I will answer.
Okay, Mr. Tirupati, please speak, sir.
In fact, she asked me, I'm responding.
Yes, Mr. Tirupati,
she only asked
speak.
me. Yeah. See, again, I am telling you, he can't say that, the question, what the question is that why your people are having schools and why even the person who had, you had painted.
Is it illegal to have a school?
Okay.
You bring it
legal.
You are so concerned. See, he is so concerned about, love for Tamil. I'm telling you, even I love Tamil. And
But
if
Mr.
you
Tirupati,
really
do you
love
agree
so,
that
if you-
this confrontation was avoidable? Because, at the end of the day, Tamil is an emotive subject. Sir, you had so many other issues to raise, considering that there are other complaints that could have been raised against DMK.
I will tell you what. That is why. There is a big breakdown in law and order, deteriorating law and order. Women harassment is happening every day, including today. And that is why Mr. Stalin, the Chief Minister, is raking up these issues, very emotional, sensitive issues. But I am telling you, people of Tamil Nadu has rejected it. 1,625 schools are there, CBSE schools. This is the third highest next to Delhi and Haryana.
Okay.
So people want three languages here. But only these people, hypocrites, they don't want the government.
Okay, last word from Mr. Rangarajan. Sir, as a Tamil who's not in Tamil Nadu, tell me...
I love to answer. I have to answer.
Okay, quickly before I go to Mr. Rangarajan.
See, people, that's what people are joining.
No, why do you want to shout here?
They are joining.
Okay, Saravanan, please.
No, why you are interfering here?
You are you want your cardiac.
Okay, last word. I'm completely out of time. Mr. Rangarajan, how are you expecting the issue to play out socially? Because today,
Don't get tense.
Okay, is Tamil Nadu more fierce when it comes to expression of autonomy and Tamil pride than it was in the 60s, sir? Or have identity issues become diluted with people from other states settling in? I keep watching Tamil debates, so there are mixed views on this. What do youngsters of Tamil Nadu who are not political feel about this?
No, the youngsters have a different take. They're more worried about jobs, and their future and things like that. They're not too much involved in politics. But the problem for the BJP is that it stands isolated politically on this issue, because even its own allies, the PMK and the DMDK, have opposed the center stand and the BJP stand on the issue. And even the ADMK, which a section of BJP is still wooing the ADMK for the alliance in the next assembly elections. The ADMK is also steadfastly opposed to the three-language policy, and its own chief ministers, MGR, and Edappadi Palaniswamy, they have implemented the two-language formula. So on this issue, the BJP does not find any support from any other political party as such. So it's a difficult time for the
quickly,
BJP.
Mr. Tirupati, because he has said that BJP feels completely isolated.
This is nation's interest, this is welfare of the public. And there is a wrong happening in Tamil Nadu by the DMK government after 2009, particularly after Samachir Kalvi, which has spoiled everybody. That is why this huge rush for CBSE schools for learning three languages have come, and compulsorily the government school students are compulsorily blocked by learning only two languages. That is it.
Okay.
We will expose these people.
Okay,
and that
completely
is
out of time. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. I'm sorry I'm completely out of time. Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi is saying that the state government, DMK's rigid two-language policy is depriving youngsters of opportunities compared to their neighboring counterparts. In fact, Ravi's statement comes even as an anti-Hindi agitation in Tamil Nadu is getting ready. In fact, DMK has hit back very strongly, saying that it doesn't need any lessons from the governor. But how politically potent is this matter, and how is it going to play out politically, socially, is something that we will be tracking very closely. It's time for a short break for news and updates on the other side.
The Maharashtra families appealed for a US visa as their daughter is in coma. The student was actually hospitalized after an accident.
हमको हमारी बेटी के पास पहुंचना चाहिए।
और इस घड़ी में पूरा हिंदुस्तान आपके साथ खड़ा है, हम आपके साथ खड़े हैं
आणि आपणला पांडुरंग आपण प्रार्थना करू आणि डॉक्टर्स पण आपल्याला करतील सगळी मदत.
NDTV's relentless campaign. Some good news, relief for the family members of Neelam Shinde. They have finally been granted emergency visa.
गौरव, आप मुझे बता सकते हैं आप अंदर गए कितना स्मूथली सब कुछ हुआ?
इतना स्मूथ कि मुझे लगा नहीं था कि इतना हो जाएगा करके, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा सपोर्ट मिला है इंडियन गवर्नमेंट जो यहाँ पे ट्रीटमेंट दिया, तो बहुत अच्छा, मतलब बहुत फास्ट वीज़ा भी मिल गया हमें प्रिंट करके।
आपको वीज़ा
यस वीज़ा प्रिंट करके भी जल्द से जल्द हमें हाथों हाथ दे दिया उन्होंने।
आप जितना जल्दी हो सके बेटी के पास जा सकते हैं।
मैं जाने वाला, कल ही जाने वाला, कल ही।
Hello, Fenesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए
finer Finesta.
Very, very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Prophet Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
American president talks about making America great again, and when Prime Minister Modi talks about Viksit Bharat, in a way is talking about making India great again.
India needs to diversify its sources of capital.
Deployment of the grassroots level will be done by manufacturing.
You can't truly become a developed nation unless we take every segment of the society in our economic development journey. This is also another element of blueprint for Viksit Bharat.
The NDTV Prophet Conclave 2025, the blueprint for Viksit Bharat, only on the NDTV network. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora, we cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
This week on India Ascends, Bangladesh Army Chief's big bombshell cautions against continued anarchy as Supreme Court allows Jamaat Chief to appeal death sentence. We decode what are the terms that will end the Ukraine war. 3.5 lakh signed petition urging UN to investigate China's contentious boarding schools in Tibet. And new turn in the Trump versus legacy media. All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gaurie Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Right in the very beginning, that the institute had a very big impression and it forever left an indelible mark on what you are. What about teaching sometimes?
If you tell me that I can teach you acting in 2 weeks, in 3 months, it doesn't happen. It's a lifetime of learning.
People who have been part of your life, starting with your father, his influence on you. He was a leftist, a tall left leader, and then your marriage to Javed Akhtar. How have men influenced your life?
In my house, I grew up with taking gender equality as a given. 70 साल पहले उन्होंने लिखी थी औरत उठ मेरी जान मेरे साथ ही चलना है तुझे, at a time when it was believed that women's place is in the home and the heart, looking after the children. And he said, no, you march along with me.
Finesta windows, beautiful and durable designs. Installation से maintenance की lifelong customer service. आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए.
Finer Finesta.
Very, very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Prophet Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
American president talks about making America great again, and when Prime Minister Modi talks about Viksit Bharat, in a way is talking about making India great again.
India needs to diversify its sources of capital.
Deployment of the grassroots level will be done by manufacturing.
You can't truly become a developed nation unless we take every segment of the society in our economic development journey. This is also another element of blueprint for Viksit Bharat.
The NDTV Prophet Conclave 2025, the blueprint for Viksit Bharat, only on the NDTV network. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora, we cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
This week on India Ascends, Bangladesh Army Chief's big bombshell cautions against continued anarchy as Supreme Court allows Jamaat Chief to appeal death sentence. We decode what are the terms that will end the Ukraine war. 3.5 lakh signed petition urging UN to investigate China's contentious boarding schools in Tibet. And new turn in the Trump versus legacy media. All this and more only.
Badrinath avalanche, 32 people rescued, 25 missing, 4 rescued persons in critical condition. Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh have spoken to the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Pushkar Dhami. CAG report on health infrastructure in the national capital has been tabled in Delhi Assembly today. The CAG report has also pointed to mismanaged COVID funds, no toilets or power backups in hospitals. Home Minister Amit Shah's first law and order review of New Delhi. He has chaired a very critical meeting with the Chief Minister of Delhi over Delhi's law and order. Home Minister has also ordered crackdown on interstate gangs and illegal immigrants. India-EU strategic meet. EU chief meets Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Modi says free trade agreement will be concluded by the end of this year. EU President says artificial intelligence will be the heart of strategic ties. Ukrainian President to meet Donald Trump today. Trump-Zelensky to ink minerals deal. A massive avalanche has occurred near Border Roads Organization camp in the border area of Mana, in which 57 workers engaged in road construction have been trapped. Of these workers, 32 workers have been rescued and sent to the army camp near Mana in critical condition. Now, this avalanche hit Border Roads Organization camp. Indian Army, in fact, has been leading rescue operations since 8 a.m. today morning. Home Minister Amit Shah has already spoken to ITBP and NDRF officials. Home Minister has said that priority is to evacuate the trapped workers. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has also spoken to Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami. Heavy snowfall will continue for 2 hours is what the weather update has been like. Also, red alert has been issued by the Met Department.
अभी तक का अपडेट है उसमें से 16 मजदूरों को ट्रेस कर लिया गया है, वो उनको सुरक्षित निकाल दिया गया। एनडीआरएफ की 4 टीमें ऑलरेडी हम लोगों ने मोबिलाइज कर दी हैं और माननीय गृह मंत्री जी खुद इस ऑपरेशन को बड़ा क्लोजली देख रहे हैं। उन्होंने मुझसे भी डीजी आईटीबीपी से और सभी लोगों से खुद बात की है और उसको बड़ा क्लोजली मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं। उन्होंने बड़े स्पष्ट निर्देश दिए कि हर तरीके से हर संभव प्रयास करने हैं कि हर जान को हमें बचाना है।
The team is working relentlessly in challenging conditions to save lives of the trapped personnel. There is also a specialized medical team of 3 doctors, 4 ambulances and an engineer team having 4 plant equipment which is working to rescue the trapped personnel and also open the route between Mana and Joshimath. Till now, 10 persons have been rescued and are under treatment by army doctors and medical personnel.
Moving on, a week after formation of the new Delhi government, the BJP government in Delhi after 27 long years, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has presided over a meeting of the Home Minister today with newly elected Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta, Delhi Home Minister Ashish Sood and Delhi Police Commissioner Sanjay Arora. It was a review meeting to assess law and order situation in the national capital, and this is the first such meeting since BJP took over the reins of power in Delhi. Meanwhile, a CAG report on public infrastructure, health infrastructure was tabled in Delhi Assembly today by Chief Minister Rekha Gupta. This is the second CAG report that has been tabled in Delhi Assembly. And this is a report that highlights underutilization of COVID funds, long wait time for surgeries, and also shortages of staff and equipment. It also talks about how new hospital projects remained delayed for long. It also talks about shortages that impacted the affordability and efficiency of health services in the national capital. In fact, it notes that COVID-19 Response Emergency Fund, which had over 700 crores, was completely underutilized, with 83.14 crore meant for essential medicines going completely unused.
Well, the CAG report on health has now been tabled, and joining us right now is the BJP MLA Harish Khurana with us. So the CAG report on health has been tabled. What are the key highlights, if you can tell our viewers?
I think I will like to request your viewers to read this report. I mean, whatever I'm reading right now, I'm feeling ashamed that these people have done a corruption in the name of life-saving drugs, in the name of COVID, in the name of creating a health infrastructure, in the name of Mohalla clinic. You've done a corruption. You've played with the lives of the people, I think. I mean, you have made only 3 hospitals. Because of the delay, the public exchequer money has gone to either your pocket or I don't know where it has gone, 340 crore rupees. Government of India is giving you the money for life-saving drugs and PPE kits and other facilities in the COVID, and you are claiming that Government of India is doing nothing for Delhi. They have given 638 crore rupees, and you have not spent in those your heads. The money is given. I don't know where the money is gone. The amount is 340 crore rupees. Out of 650, 50% of the money you have not spent or spent somewhere else. Where this money has gone. So I think this money has gone only in the pockets of Arvind Kejriwal. This has to be investigated.
So Mohalla clinics has been one of the things that the Aam Aadmi Party, the then government, used to brag.
I think people of your viewers should read this report. Whatever the claim was about the health revolution, Mohalla clinic, they will also see. And they will, I think, like me, they will also feel ashamed that once they have chosen Arvind Kejriwal government.
300 करोड़ की तो है ही है, इसका पार्ट है, अभी पार्ट बी भी आना है। दिल्ली की जनता के साथ पिछली सरकार ने जो अन्याय किए हैं, जो धोखा दिया है हेल्थ के नाम पे, हमारी मुख्यमंत्री और स्वयं मैं और भारतीय जनता पार्टी इसके ऊपर विशेष जो गलतियां आम आदमी पार्टी ने की है, जो दिल्ली की जनता को धोखा दिया है, हम उनको बख्शेंगे नहीं। जो इसमें इन्वॉल्व हैं उनके साथ उचित कार्रवाई होगी।
आज सीएजी की रिपोर्ट सदन में पेश हुई है हेल्थ को लेकर। उसमें कहा गया है कि जो पैसे केंद्र सरकार ने दिए थे, खासकर कोविड के समय, उस पैसों का फंड का उपयोग दिल्ली सरकार नहीं कर पाई है।
सीएजी रिपोर्ट जो है, अगर उनको ईमानदारी से सीएजी रिपोर्ट पे चर्चा करनी होती तो सारे सीएजी रिपोर्ट टेबल कर देते, विपक्ष को सदन से बाहर नहीं करते। आज सभी विपक्ष के विधायकों को सदन से बाहर करके एक तरफा केवल गाली देने का जो प्रलाप चल रहा है, उसके लिए दिल्ली के लोगों ने भाजपा की सरकार नहीं बनाई है। सीएजी की रिपोर्ट आती है, सीएजी की रिपोर्ट टेबल होती है, सीएजी की जो रिपोर्ट होती है वो पीएससी को जाती है, पीएससी उस पर जांच करती है और उसके बाद वो अपनी रिपोर्ट प्रस्तुत करती है। लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग जो ये सोच रहे हैं कि जो 2 साल से काम कर रहे थे आम आदमी पार्टी को, अरविंद केजरीवाल को गालियां देने का, सरकार बनाने के बाद भी वही काम करके उनका काम निपट जाएगा, तो दिल्ली के लोग इसके लिए सरकार नहीं बनाए।
Moving on to more stories, Congress brass held an important meeting with Kerala Congress leaders today. Meeting came in the midst of a row over Congress MP Shashi Tharoor. Congress has clarified that there is no rift within the party. In fact, Congress General Secretary Deepa Das Munshi, after the review meeting of Kerala unit, said that the Congress party is completely united and there are no factions within the party in Kerala. My colleague Sunil Prabhu, who tracks the Congress party for us, will join us. But first, let's listen into some reactions.
Congress is very much connected with the public, with the people of Kerala.
Emotionally, politically, people are looking for a change. So we should not do anything which will disrespect the people of Kerala. This was a clear indication, and if anything, anyone personally, his or her view is coming to the media, we will take strong action on that, because we have no right to disrespect the people of Kerala. Secondly, there were many programs which is coming in the next few months that has been discussed, and in the month of April there will be a ward president conference, state conference, where Kharge ji, Rahul ji, Priyanka ji all will attend. That will be the starting boost up for the workers of Kerala Congress.
Sunil Prabhu joins us with more details on this. Sunil, the story that has trended for the last 3 days, with the optics of it saying a lot, Deepa Dasmunshi with Sashi Tharoor, KC Venugopal and also Ramesh Chenitala standing next to all of them. Tell us what happened in the meeting and how has the controversy, speculations, have they been put to rest?
Well, what's really happened is, the Congress has made it clear to Mr. Tharoor and others, but specifically Mr. Tharoor, even though he's clarified that remarks that he were made were completely, out of turn, not correctly transcribed, portrayed, and even though there has been some clarification, he would have wanted better journalism, but the Congress hasn't taken that kindly, has said that nobody should speak out. It's not about better journalism, as they told Mr. Tharoor. It is about speaking in one voice and not speaking against the party line. And that's something that the Congress has made it clear. It's just a little bit over a year. They have to get their house in order. There are issues with the present PCC chief, but the time is short. And it's in that backdrop now that they will have to start working for the local body elections and other the assembly elections, because it's been 10 years of the Left Democratic Front. And for the Congress to wrest control, it's going to be an uphill task. And that's the reason why they need all hands on board. Mr. Tharoor, who was present next to Deepa Dasmunshi, and I asked a pointed question whether it meant for him. She made it clear, not only Mr. Tharoor, but others too, and that everybody has clarified, and they hope that this chapter now is over, and they will speak in the next few months in the run-up to the assembly elections in a united voice.
Congress party making a big statement there, at least promising to speak in one voice when it comes to Kerala politics. Thank you, Sunil Prabhu, for reporting on that important story. Moving on to other news, EU chief in India, and joint statements have been issued by not just EU chief but also Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This happened after the chief of EU met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and talked about strategic ties between the EU and also India. Prime Minister has spoken on this, and he has said that India believes in shared prosperity and that the free trade agreement will be concluded by the end of this year. He has also said that securing value chain is a priority for India, while EU President has also said that there is a need to work on a new strategic agenda and that the potential of India-EU ties is immense.
हमने अपनी टीम्स को एक पारस्परिक लाभकारी बायलैटरल फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट को, एफटीए को, इस वर्ष के अंत तक संपन्न करने का निर्देश दिया है। फ्रेंड्स, इन्वेस्टमेंट फ्रेमवर्क मजबूत करने के लिए इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रोटेक्शन और जीआई एग्रीमेंट पर भी आगे बढ़ने की बात हुई है। टेक्नोलॉजी और इनोवेशन के क्षेत्र में एक ट्रस्टेड और सिक्योर वैल्यू चेन हमारी साझी प्राथमिकता है। सेमीकंडक्टर, एआई, हाई परफॉर्मेंस कंप्यूटिंग और 6G में सहयोग बढ़ाने पर भी सहमति बनी है।
Our businesses and people want to work together. And one of the best examples of this partnership is the new Federation of European Businesses in India. It brings together 6,000 EU companies, which have created 8 million direct and indirect jobs in this economy. Now we have tasked our teams to build on this momentum and finalize our free trade agreement before the end of the year. We're expecting a lot. of our trade negotiators, we told them they should surprise us. Now more than ever, the geopolitical content asks for decisive action. At the same time, we must take our Trade and Technology Council to the next level and connect research, innovation and market uptake. This allows us to tackle important economic challenges together and to build robust and diverse supply chains, such as, for example, in semiconductors, a very important topic we have been working intensively on.
In a major outcome, the leaders have directed their teams that the India-EU FTA should be concluded within the year. This is, of course, a very important outcome as negotiations have been ongoing on this aspect. Another area of collaboration, important collaboration, has been connectivity. And in that sphere, both sides discussed the significance of the IMEC connectivity initiative and various ways to take this forward. On the defense and security domain, especially maritime security, the EU has decided to join India's Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative, IPOI.
It's been a very comprehensive meeting between the two sides, the EU and India. The first time that there's a full delegation that has come outside of Europe. It's a 27-member delegation that is meeting and met all stakeholders in India, starting from Prime Minister Modi. The delegation level talks that were held today at Hyderabad House, indicating the clear intent, messaging, as well as the direction in which these talks are going and are set to go. The roadmap is very clear. In fact, the roadmap is a 360-degree roadmap in terms of the relationship between India and the EU, whether it is in terms of trade talks, whether it is in terms of defense, space, technology, clean technology, all of that is in fact being covered in these talks. And Ursula von der Leyen as well as Prime Minister Modi said something very clear when they sent the messaging and the intent, when they said that planets have aligned and so have Europe and India. And in fact, there's a very clear messaging also in terms of conclusion of trade talks. The leaders said today that there is an expectation that those trade talks, which have been in the works for over a decade and a half actually, may see conclusion this time, in fact this year itself. What that means? It means that there will be some give and take from the EU side. There will be some flexibility hopefully on the movement of skilled labor from India. On the Indian side, there could be some flexibility in terms of European wine, European whiskey and several other specific items in the agricultural basket, where the EU side has all along said that Indian tariffs need to come down. But beyond that, beyond just these trade talks, the messaging, as I said, from both the leaders indicate that this partnership is now evolving into a deeper strategic partnership between India and the EU, something that was expected, something that had the potential but wasn't realized so far. From the Indian side, remember, there's also the UPI framework, cost-effective, scalable and replicable, something that the EU wants to in fact replicate at its end. And the leaders also made a mention of that the UPI framework of India can be replicated, providing a greater digital financial backbone to the EU. There could also be tie-ups from between the two sides on greater collaboration revolving around AI as well as regulation. Regulation and policy framework is something that the EU has made advances on, but in terms of collaboration is where partnerships with India will come in handy. All in all, a 360-degree progress in terms of India-EU partnership, from trade to defense to strategic areas.
It's time for a short break. More news and updates on the other side.
The Maharashtra families appealed for a US visa as their daughter is in coma. The student was actually hospitalized after an accident.
हमको हमारी बेटी के पास पहुंचना चाहिए।
और इस घड़ी में
पूरा हिंदुस्तान आपके साथ खड़ा है, हम आपके साथ खड़े हैं.
आणि आपणला पांडुरंग आपण प्रार्थना करू आणि डॉक्टर्स पण आपल्याला करतील सगळी मदत.
NDTV's relentless campaign. Some good news, relief for the family members of Neelam Shinde. They have finally been granted emergency visa.
गौरव, आप मुझे बता सकते हैं आप अंदर गए, कितना स्मूथली सब कुछ हुआ?
इतना स्मूथ कि मुझे लगा नहीं था कि इतना हो जाएगा करके. मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा सपोर्ट मिला है इंडियन गवर्नमेंट जो यहाँ पे ट्रीटमेंट दिया, तो बहुत अच्छा, मतलब बहुत फास्ट वीज़ा भी मिल गया हमें प्रिंट करके.
आपको वीज़ा
यस वीज़ा प्रिंट करके भी जल्द से जल्द हमें हाथों हाथ दे दिया उन्होंने.
आप जितना जल्दी हो सके बेटी के पास जा सकते हैं.
मैं जाने वाला, कल ही जाने वाला, कल ही.
फिनेस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस. आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए.
Finer Finesta.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Very, very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Prophet Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
American president talks about making America great again, and when Prime Minister
Welcome back. Employees Provident Fund Organization has decided to retain interest rate on Provident Fund deposits at 8.25% for 2024-25. In fact, EPFO board has retained previous year's EPF deposits interest rates after they were increased marginally to 8.25% for 2023-24. And my colleague Sakshi Bajaj has more details on this.
The Employees Provident Fund Organization has kept the key interest rate unchanged at 8.25%. Now, why is this a milestone and why is this interesting to note? Well, remember, there were expectations that this rate will be lowered given the uncertain times we are living in, given the fact that we are seeing a plunge as far as markets are concerned as well. But the EPFO, the pension body, really has kept this interest rate unchanged. So what does this mean for you, the viewer, the consumer? Well, it means that really your savings and the interest you were earning on your savings or your pension remains intact. Remember, this comes as a fresh boost really for the middle class, for consumers to retain that interest rate, given the fact that we are seeing uncertain geopolitical concerns continue and we are seeing markets continue to decline consistently. So that really experts and economists believe is a milestone and a fresh development. Remember, last we saw these rates rising in February 2024. And remember, experts and economists alike believe that, look, if the market momentum was higher, had peaked to a new high, and if the situation geopolitically was also a lot calmer and a lot more certain, then we could have seen an increase in these interest rates. But for now, retaining these interest rates is in the interest of the consumer.
Moving on to some international news. In the midst of Washington's flip-flops on its support for Ukraine, US President Donald Trump is all set to meet the President of Ukraine, Zelensky, today, where the two are expected to sign a deal that will give United States of America the access to rare earth mineral resources of Ukraine. Ahead of this meeting, Trump has appeared to make a U-turn after previously describing Ukraine President Zelensky as a dictator, saying he has a lot of respect for him. Zelensky, meanwhile, has described the bilateral deal as preliminary and has said that he wants further agreements which include US security guarantees to deter renewed Russian aggression. In fact, let's first listen into what Donald Trump said today.
We're going to have a very good meeting tomorrow morning. We're going to get along really well, okay? We have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for him. We've given him a lot of equipment and a lot of money, but they have fought very bravely, no matter how you figure it. They have really fought. Somebody has to use that equipment, and they have been very brave in that sense.
Well, it's time for a short break. More news on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Fenesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Finer Fenesta.
This week on India Ascends.
Bangladesh Army Chief's big bombshell cautions against continued anarchy as Supreme Court allows Jamaat Chief to appeal death sentence. We decode what are the terms that will end the Ukraine war. 3.5 lakh signed petition urging UN to investigate China's contentious boarding schools in Tibet. And new turn in the Trump versus legacy media.
All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gaurie Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland. The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Very, very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Prophet Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
American president talks about making America great again, and when Prime Minister Modi talks about Viksit Bharat, in a way is talking about making India great again.
India needs to diversify its sources of capital.
Deployment of the grassroots level will be done by manufacturing.
You can't truly become a developed nation unless we take every segment of the society in our economic development journey. This is also another element of blueprint for Viksit Bharat.
The NDTV Prophet Conclave 2025, the blueprint for Viksit Bharat, only on the NDTV network.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Fenesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Finer Fenesta.
This week on India Ascends.
Bangladesh Army Chief's big bombshell cautions against continued anarchy as Supreme Court allows Jamaat Chief to appeal death sentence. We decode what are the terms that will end the Ukraine war. 3.5 lakh signed petition urging UN to investigate China's contentious boarding schools in Tibet. And new turn in the Trump versus legacy media.
All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gaurie Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland. The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Very, very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Prophet Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
American president talks about making America great again, and when Prime Minister Modi talks about Viksit Bharat, in a way is talking about making India great again.
India needs to diversify its sources of capital.
Deployment of the grassroots level will be done by manufacturing.
You can't truly become a developed nation unless we take every segment of the society in our economic development journey. This is also another element of blueprint for Viksit Bharat.
The NDTV Prophet Conclave 2025, the blueprint for Viksit Bharat, only on the NDTV network.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora, we cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Fenesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. Installation से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Massive avalanche in Uttarakhand. Avalanche hits road builders camp. 32 rescued, many trapped. Home Minister Amit Shah speaks to ITBP and NDRF. It's an NDTV impact. Neelam's family gets a US visa after agonizing wait. The family will be traveling to US tomorrow. US hospital says Neelam is showing improvement. Family takes loan to pay for the travel. And it's bloodbath at National Stock Exchange. Nifty Sensex plunge over 1.8%. Sensex tanks over 1,400 points. Nifty hits nearly 9-month low. Prime Minister Modi and European Union Commission chief hold talks. Prime Minister Modi says, "We believe in shared prosperity." Mr. Modi says that FTA will be concluded by year-end. The EU chief emphasizes on new strategic agenda. Our top story this hour, 25 border roads organization workers are still trapped after an avalanche hit Uttarakhand's Chamoli district. The incident took place near the border village of Mana, about 5 kilometers from the Badrinath temple. There were a total of 57 workers, of which 32 BRO workers have been so far rescued and are being treated.
सभी प्रकार की तैयारियां यहां पर कर ली गई हैं। एम्बुलेंस से लेकर ITBP की मदद ली जा रही है, अन्य संस्थाओं की मदद ली जा रही है। आपदा प्रबंधन विभाग हमारा पूरी तरह से सक्रिय, जिला प्रशासन भी, और हम लोग स्वयं सभी लोग लगातार संपर्क में हैं और हमारा प्रयास है कि सभी को सुरक्षित जल्दी से जल्दी बाहर निकाला जाए।
और मनापात के बीच में एक avalanche की सूचना प्राप्त हुई है, जहां BRO एजेंसी के अराउंड 57 लेबर्स काम करते हैं बर्फ़ हटाने का, वो कैंप्ड थे वहाँ पे। और हमारी जो टीम्स हैं वो मोबिलाइज हो गई हैं, आर्मी, ITBP, SPRF और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की टीम। एक्टिव रेनफॉल है हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में और हायर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक्टिव स्नोफॉल है, तो इसलिए हम हेली सर्विसेज अभी यूटिलाइज नहीं कर पा रहे हैं और मूवमेंट में भी डिफ़िकल्टी हो रही है। और वहाँ कोई सेटेलाइट फ़ोन और अन्य ऐसा कोई उपकरण उपलब्ध नहीं होने के कारण स्पष्ट कम्युनिकेशन वहाँ नहीं हो पा रहा है हम लोगों का उनसे। और हमारी यही प्रयास है कि हम सब टीम्स को लेके एक कोऑर्डिनेटेड एफर्ट करके सबको रेस्क्यू करें, और हायर अथॉरिटीज़ की तरफ से भी पूरा सपोर्ट हमें मिल रहा है।
The team is working relentlessly in challenging conditions to save lives of the trapped personnel. There is also a specialized medical team of 3 doctors, 4 ambulances and an engineer team having 4 plant equipment which is working to rescue the trapped personnel and also open the route between Mana and Joshimath.
Shifting focus to our ongoing campaign, after days of desperate appeals, the United States has finally granted an emergency visa to Neelam Shinde's family, who is lying in a state of coma after a road accident in California. The family includes Ms. Shinde's father, cousin and uncle will be taking the next flight to the US. Here's a report by Anuj.
The Maharashtra families appeal for a US visa as their daughter is in coma.
हमको हमारी बेटी के पास पहुंचना चाहिए।
और इस घड़ी में पूरा हिंदुस्तान आपके साथ खड़ा है, हम आपके साथ खड़े हैं
आणि आपणला पांडुरंग आपण प्रार्थना करू आणि डॉक्टर्स पण आपल्याला करतील सगळी मदत.
After an agonizing 12 days, while Neelam has been in a coma, alone in a hospital in the US, her family has been struggling to get a visa to be with her. Finally, after an NDTV campaign, they got a visa interview this morning and within minutes, the visa.
जितना स्मूथ कि मुझे लगा नहीं था कि इतना हो जाएगा करके, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा सपोर्ट मिला है इंडियन गवर्नमेंट हो या अपना, मतलब मुझे स्पेशल थैंक्स फडणवीस जी से अपने CM जी का करना है कि उन्होंने मतलब जो यहाँ पे ट्रीटमेंट दिया तो बहुत अच्छा, मतलब बहुत फास्ट वीज़ा भी मिल गया हमें प्रिंट करके.
ओ आपको वीज़ा
भी मिल गया? वीज़ा प्रिंट करके भी जल्द से जल्द हमें हाथों हाथ दे दिया उन्होंने.
Neelam's cousin Gaurie also has some good news. According to the US hospital, Neelam Shinde's health has shown slight improvement. For her father, who is very distraught, this news has brought a ray of hope.
वहाँ पे थोड़ी उसका प्रोग्रेस है, उसका एक्सीडेंट के बाद से वो जो ब्रेन का प्रेशर है वो हाई चल रहा था, पर कल हमें अपडेट मिला है कि वो थोड़ा सा कम होके डॉक्टर के कंट्रोल में आ चुके हैं. अब फिर अभी भी वो कोमा में ही है, ऐसा क्रिटिकली बोल रहे हैं डॉक्टर, पर होप है कि उनको अभी वो कर रही है, मतलब उसको फाइट कर रही है.
NDTV reached out to Sacramento police, who confirmed that it was a hit-and-run accident, and the accused had been arrested on 19th of February. NDTV's extensive coverage ensured that the Indian embassy took notice of the case. The embassy officially stated that it remains in constant touch with the Ministry of External Affairs regarding Neelam Shinde's situation. The Shinde family has witnessed an outpouring of support in recent days, with assistance coming from the Chief Minister's team, both Deputy Chief Ministers and Union Minister Muralidhar Mohol. However, it was NCP MP Supriya Sure's prompt intervention that brought the case to the attention of higher officials.
That it was Bala Saheb Patil from Karad who brought this to my notice. So actually, the entire credit goes to him. I would not like to take, this is not something about taking credit. I feel the pain for the family. It's been a very, very difficult situation for all of us. It was completely helplessness. And when it was brought to my notice, I would leave all politics aside, and I actually want to show gratitude towards the MEA, the Ministry of External Affairs, and the US Embassy in Mumbai, who have really helped us.
But for the Shinde family, many challenges remain. Set to travel to the US tomorrow, they have accommodation only for the first 10 days. Already, to fund their travel, they have had to mortgage jewelry.
फाइनेंशियली तो थोड़ा हम यहाँ से अभी लोन करके ही जा रहे हैं, एक तो मतलब गोल्ड लोन हो या ऐसे ही करके जा रहे हैं, तो फाइनेंशियली तो हेल्प मिली तो मतलब अच्छा ही होगा मतलब हमारे लिए.
One can only hope that more well-wishers will come forward to help the family in their hour of need. With Abir Adhar, this is Anuj Raide reporting from Mumbai for NDTV 24/7.
News Union Minister Kiren Rijiju attended the NDTV Auto Awards, and after paying tribute to Ratan Tata, Kiren Rijiju hailed the future of India's automobile sector and stated that India will be the hub of EV era. Listening.
The whole mobility industry in India is actually moving towards, I could say, a different kind of structure now, because we are going to become the hub of this next, the EV era which we are going to see. And we are bound to be the hub. And Honorable Prime Minister already laid the government's priority. Having said that, what I could just gather from my little understanding of the automobile industry around the globe, India will be one of a major hub, because the way in which India is projecting itself and the manner in which government is being a pioneer, partnering the automobile, the automotive industry. So the Western world, China, of course, taking a big lead in the EV sector. India is next big thing to happen.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today held talks with the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, focusing on imparting fresh momentum to the India-European Union strategic partnership. At the joint press conference, Prime Minister Modi called the visit a unique one. Ghazali has the special report.
After a meeting with EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that the India-EU Free Trade Agreement will be reached by the end of 2025.
ये केवल भारत में यूरोपियन कमीशन की पहली यात्रा नहीं, बल्कि यह किसी भी एक देश में यूरोपियन कमीशन का पहला इतना व्यापक एंगेजमेंट है और साथ ही कमीशन के नए कार्यकाल की सबसे पहली यात्राओं में से एक है। भारत और ईयू की 2 दशकों की स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप नेचुरल है, ऑर्गेनिक है। इसके मूल में ट्रस्ट है, लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों में साझा विश्वास है, विभिन्न क्षेत्रीय और वैश्विक मुद्दों पर सिंसियर और मीनिंगफुल चर्चा हुई है। हमने अपनी टीम्स को एक पारस्परिक लाभकारी बायलैटरल फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट को, एफटीए को इस वर्ष के अंत तक संपन्न करने का निर्देश दिया है।
On a 2-day visit to India with top EU leaders, Ursula von der Leyen said that the EU and India have agreed to push for a long-pending free trade agreement this year.
Our businesses and people want to work together. And one of the best examples of this partnership is the new Federation of European Businesses in India. It brings together 6,000 EU companies, which have created 8 million direct and indirect jobs in this economy.
India and the EU relaunched talks on a long-pending free trade agreement in 2021. But issues like market access for products such as cars and alcoholic beverages have been sticking points. The next round of negotiations is planned for March. Brussels is ramping up efforts to finalize the free trade agreement with New Delhi in the face of potential US tariffs.
I can announce that we are exploring a future security and defense partnership with India, in the mold of the partnership we have with Japan and South Korea. This will help us step up our work to counter common threats, whether on cross-border terrorism, maritime security threats, the whole topic of cyber attacks, or the new phenomenon we see on attacks on our critical infrastructure. Security should be at the core part of our new strategic partnership with India.
With the Russia-Ukraine war molding global security dynamics, Leyen stressed the need for India and the EU to work together in combating threats.
India and European Union have been looking to deepen their strategic partnership, and today's meeting marks the first step towards that direction. And with the negotiations in the final stages, it will be interesting to see that how both parties will now iron out minute details of free trade agreement. In Delhi with camera person Ashok Mahale, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
Let's get you the latest to the markets. The Nifty and Sensex continued their downward spiral today with a plunge of over 1.8%. And Tamil Nadu Governor Ravi, who is at loggerheads with the DMK government over multiple issues, today joined the ongoing language debate, saying that the state's persistent policy, two-language one, of teaching students Tamil and English deprived youngsters of opportunities. The DMK promptly hit back with DMK Minister Raghupati, asking the governor not to teach Tamils love for their language. Here's a report by Sam Daniel.
தமிழ்நாட்டுக்காக ஒன்றுபட்டு போராடுவோம். தமிழ்நாடு போராடும். தமிழ்நாடு வெல்லும்.
Continuing his offensive against the center on the eve of his birthday, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin today appealed to people to join the language war and struggle against population-based delimitation. This despite Home Minister Amit Shah's assurance that southern states will not lose any MP seats because of their effective population control measures and will gain pro rata.
இதை பார்த்த ஒன்றிய அரசு இந்திய திரைக்கலன்னு சொல்லிக்கிட்டே அதுக்கான எல்லா முன்னெடுப்புகளையும் எடுத்துக்கிட்டு இருக்காங்க. மும்மொழி கொள்கையை ஏற்றுக்காததால் நமக்கான பணமும் இன்னமும் தரலை. அதேபோல் தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கான தொகுதிகளை குறைக்க மாட்டோம்னு மட்டும்தான் சொல்கிறாங்களே தவிர மற்ற மாநிலங்களோட எண்ணிக்கையை அதிகரிக்க மாட்டோம்னு சொல்ல மாட்டுறாங்க. நாம் கேட்குறது மக்கள் தொகை அடிப்படையில் தொகுதிகளை பிரிக்காதீங்க. நாட்டோட வளர்ச்சிக்காக மக்கள் தொகையை கட்டுப்படுத்தின